guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video. Today we're going to go ahead and no item, the newest red zone stage. This is against full power FRIEZA. Well, I say full power FRIEZA, but it's kind of like just the entirety of the FRIEZA fight, right? On Namek, of course. Now, this fight, I don't really think is too bad. I do say that, but FRIEZA, of course, does have a lot of very powerful abilities, which we'll go throughout each of his phases. The thing about this fight, though, to not be intimidated by it, and to remember that this fight is ridiculously long. FRIEZA has way more HP total across his, what, 5 phases? Yeah, 5 phases. FRIEZA has more HP across his 5 phases than both Broly and Omega, right? And cooler in the next Red Zone stage for Wicked Bloodline Edition as well. This, I believe Frieza probably has the most health out of any of the stages, probably even more than the Shadow Dragons. But that means the same principle applies to this fight that does to the Shadow Dragon fight, which is that it goes on for so long, it gives the player the advantage. Because we could take very powerful characters, such as Namek Goku. This fight is literally designed around Namek Goku cooking, right? The entire fight, Namek Goku has guaranteed crits, and then the strongest phase, Full Power Frieza, is tech, right? So the fight is designed around Namek Goku destroying it. So we have a fight that builds up, you know, rather slowly in terms of difficulty, right? There's a couple things about Frieza that will definitely deceive people. We've seen the stats. Frieza doesn't really hit hard until you reach his final form. But Full Power Frieza hits very hard. Harder than Broly, actually. Like AGL Broly. But it's just so deep in the fight that all these stacking characters, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, the LR Gods, you know, Vegeta and Trunks, Namek Goku, right? I don't know, Xeno Vegeta would be great in here, right? The support unit. Any powerful int character will do well in this fight. Now, this phase right here, I'm seeing a lot of people are very scared of this phase, but this really isn't so bad. So, this second form Frieza right here is an AoE, but it's not devastating like Broly, because Broly, I believe, has an attack stat on his super attack. It's like around 800,000 something. So, Broly hits basically each slot 500,000 damage harder than this second form Frieza does. Every single slot, Broly would hit 500,000 harder, right? Essentially. So while this Frieza can definitely do a lot of damage, because you're gonna want to run a very int-heavy lineup. You definitely want to run a very int-heavy lineup to counteract Full Power Frieza at the end. And again, Full Power Frieza, you know, his damage is even above AGL Broly, so you really want to bring your int characters, right? This can seem scary, right? But even, I've seen Namek Goku, who's done like one super attack or something like that, still only take 350k from this fight, right? Or from this phase right here. So it's like, you can work through this phase fairly easily. The other thing about this phase too, and the entire Frieza fight in general, we can dodge, right? Remember, the thing that makes Broly so devastating is he completely cancels out a fundamental aspect of strong defense, which is just dodging it, right? Not taking the damage at all. So, you know, in this fight, we can dodge. So, UI Goku, Chi-Lai, right? Characters like that. Or Majin Vegeta, who, you know, hits like a feather. I definitely think you want to be giving Majin Vegeta full dodge for a reason. Let the defensive unit cook defensively, right? Y'all are never... I do not care, man. Majin Vegeta hits like a feather, but I think he is an amazing, spectacular unit because of his defense, right? Maximize his defense. Listen, Nano, I talked Nano into it. I could talk you into it too. Full dodge on Majin Vegeta. Do it, and you will not regret it. Okay, so from this point on, once you make it past second form Frieza, I feel like this fight, for the most part, is just really not too bad at all. Third form Frieza has, like, nothing notable for us really to talk about. He'll just go down super fast to LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta right here, doing a lot of damage, right? Now, the next phase, though, AGL Final Form Frieza, he is actually potentially a bit scary, because I believe his damage is around 700,000 when he super attacks AGL Frieza. And he could super attack twice per turn. Supering twice per turn is definitely a very scary prospect, right? Because when bosses are capable of super attacking twice per turn, your chances of hiding sort of like inefficient defensive characters just go way down, right? Like these bosses, you guys know how it is. These bosses, they will sniff out your weak characters and they will bully them, right? It happens. Okay, so here's Fusion Zamasu. I have found Fusion Zamasu, his kit is actually just so strong that even if, you know, we don't have like his intro active, because we're not running another Potara character on the team, right? So Fusion Zamasu actually did not have access to his intro and some extra abilities that he can get. But even without that, even with no Big Bad Bosses character around, I've found that the Fusion Zamasu package is actually like very like he is a great in unit. I just wonder, like, you know, like if there was a stronger, because LR Goku Black and Zamasu are definitely good enough to like do this fight and stuff like that. But, like, they could get one shot by full power Frieza at the end, right? It definitely could happen. If Zamasu just had, like, a 200% leader that was, like, you know, Big Bad Bosses, Goku Black character, like, it would be really nuts. So, okay, here's the phase. AGL Final Form Frieza right here can double super attack. But it's really just, like, not... I don't know. I just wasn't really nervous at all, because this guy just doesn't really hit that hard, right? So it's like if you've got like the 7th anniversary LRs or any powerful character like this, we're just going to melt his HP. And you know, what is he going to do? Super the Gods? Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, right? Like a lot of the same powerful setups I think that people like to use in a lot of these Red Zone stages are going to cut it against Frieza, right? Like, you know, these same lineups everyone likes to run out of, like, you know, the LR Super Saiyan 4s and the Gods and LR Tech Gogeta. All these types of characters will be very helpful. LR Tech Gogeta can work pretty well in here, right? He certainly would take a little bit of damage from Tech Full Power Frieza. I think even as normals, he probably would take some damage. But, like, if you're able to transform at the right moment with Tech Gogeta, you know, again, maybe, like, once you reach, like, AGL Final Form Frieza, right here would probably be where you would want to transform with Tech Gogeta. And then if you just have the Scouter for Full Power Frieza, because that's the thing, I guess this fight can lull us to sleep, because, you know, most of this fight, Frieza's just not hitting hard. And then Full Power Frieza does actually hit really hard. He is one of the hardest hitting bosses, and I think, what is the order of hardest hitting bosses in the game? I think it's Cell Max, then Omega, then this Frieza. This Frieza is third. Again, he hits harder than Broly. So, you know, if we have, you know, Tech Gogeta Scouter, or maybe Chi-Lai Scouter, you know, one of these powerful characters like that, and we know where Full Power Frieza Super is, then you're taking away the one big strength that this boss has, right? Which, of course, is just the ridiculous damage that he can do on that. I believe one other thing, too, is that Full Power Frieza, he does get stronger on the turn after he super attacks, too. That's the other thing. Because remember, sometimes these bosses, you know, they can have super attack effects, too. Right? Like, I don't know how meaningful it is, but third form Frieza increases his defense on super attack. But again, I'm not really too sure how meaningful that actually is, right? Like, I don't know that one of these bosses increasing their defense really matters too much. It's not the old days where, like, you know, the Broly Dokkan fights would have so much defense that it was actually, like, a thing that was difficult to penetrate. Like, I don't know that we really see that too often. Plus, crits are a thing, which were not a thing back then. So we got this funny rotation right here. Frieza just is hitting completely at the end. Now, I think this turn right here is a good display of actually how hard this damn Frieza hits. So Vegeta and Trunks, remember, they guard only in slot 1 once you're super deep into the fight. I figured, though, like, okay, like, they're going to be able to super attack first, so we could stack right here. Then we potentially could double or triple super attack. They are still in, so they've got type advantage. I figured that we would, you know, pretty much just, like, completely stonewall this super attack by Frieza. But if we take a look here, Frieza actually does quite a bit of damage. I mean, This just goes to show how hard this guy hits. 440k to this unit, Vegeta and Trunks? That's insane. Like, this Frieza right here is a threat with how hard he hits. There's no doubt about that. I was stunned when Frieza did that much damage to Vegeta and Trunks, right? Like that, again, Vegeta and Trunks, like they're a stacking character. And then here I was super bummed. I remember this. So I thought I had won right here, right? I was like, oh my God, we're going to do the Father-Son Gallic Gun. I'm going to do Gogeta Blue, and then we're going to finish him with Namek Goku, the thematic finish with Namek Goku. But we actually are not able to do enough damage with Vegeta and Trunks and Gogeta Blue's active skill to get Frieza below 30% HP. We do finish him on this turn, right? But we're not able to do enough damage to get Frieza below 30% to use, you know, the Namek Goku frown, unfortunately. But there we go. I mean, there is the no item run for Frieza. Certainly, this is not a fight I think that's on the level of Omega or Bojack or Broly. I don't think so. I think Omega with his locking, and the thing about Omega is the ridiculous type coverage in a shorter fight, right? You have the hardest hitting, like Omega, his normals hits harder than this Frieza and Broly and these bosses, right? And Cooler as well. But then you have that nasty STR phase in the middle. The type coverage is so difficult. Bojack with his locking, and then Broly has his unfair, you know, dodge canceling and the bullshit that he does, right? I think all three of those fights are harder than this Frieza fight. Cooler, I think, is definitely tougher than Bojack. Cooler might be the second hardest Red Zone fight. I don't know. But I do think that I would probably put the Bojack fight ahead of this Frieza fight in terms of difficulty, because you can cheese this fight a little bit with stacking characters, right? It's kind of the same concept as the Shadow Dragon fight. You know, when these fights, the longer they go on, the more it benefits you as a player, because your stacking characters can be more effective, right? The more difficult fights, I think, are ones that can be a bit shorter, right? Which is why Cooler, I think, is much more difficult, because Cooler hits way harder for the most part, but it's just such a shorter fight compared to Frieza, right? You don't have time to just build all your characters up to infinity against Cooler the way you can against Frieza. So there we go. You know, pretty much just slapping together a bunch of the best units in the game on a team, and we're able to get through Frieza. So let me know how you guys on Global are having any luck with the Frieza fight. I think once this Wicked Bloodline Red Zone is complete, I'll probably go through with the no item challenges for all the 200% teams. But I'm probably going to wait until the Red Zone is actually finished, this Wicked Bloodline Red Zone. So let me know what you guys think of the Full Power Frieza no item run. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.